Hello again, you, and welcome to your next essay correction. It's Andrew again. Now, I have to say already that this is probably the best you've ever written. We're getting closer and closer to that 8. So let's have a start. The general public have different views about whether or not companies should hire people who want to dedicate their entire life to the company. Cool. I firmly believe that it is better for management of companies. I would say companies, without the need for the. I think it's just slightly easier at the moment. To hire people who will become long-term workers, mainly because I would say tasks or responsibilities. I would say responsibilities have become increasingly complicated for newer employees to master, and thus getting things done collaboratively with colleagues has become more important. Good, well expanded. Firstly, thanks to the advent of computers and the internet, so I'll just get rid of this one, individual workers became able to do more complex tasks in a shorter amount of time. However, it means that the employees need to learn a wider variety of things, and let's not use ambiguous words. So if we find ourselves saying things or works or stuff, then let's think of a more specific word. What are the things? And as well, that's your opportunity to give an example as well. In this, employees need to learn a wider variety of skills, such as, and then give me a few examples. Connect me to reality. When you're telling me something, show me what you're thinking. So that would then be, yes, an opportunity for an example to support your statement. While technology boosts productivity, so this is a bit long, we could just say while technology boosts productivity, the amount of time spent I'd say the amount of time spent learning these skills is significant. Thus, I would say, thus placing a significant training cost on companies should they hire short-term employees, or should they hire many short-term employees. What we want to try and get across is the idea of the economics of the situation. That companies who have the same staff for a long period of time invest once in that member of staff at the start for training, and then everything else is just coming down to experience. Whereas if that person leaves, then we have another training cost. And then if that person leaves, we have another training cost. So it's very, very clear to us that long-term staff is reduced cost. But we need to make sure that that idea is summarized in our final sentence, that we actually cover the detail. Secondly, the importance of collaboratively working with others has received great attention. Even if an employee is exceptionally good at collaboration, as well avoid repetition. So collaborative work, to work together, teamwork, to share ideas, to function as a group. There's a lot of ways to refer to collaborative work, to sharing the load. So even if an employee is exceptionally good at teamwork or naturally proficient at working in it as part of a team, it still requires time I would say it still requires time to establish relationships, networks, and reputation. Relationships, networks, and reputation is essentially what I see there. It still takes time to form relationships, networks, and a reputation. A recent study published by Harvard University illustrated that it normally takes at least 2 years to allow newly hired employees to efficiently work with other members in the team. Both are correct, but remember, fewer words is always better. Other members in the team refers to any team, whereas the other members in the team refers to a specific team. But we're talking about the results of a study, so we would have thought it applies to any team. And you can use, instead of even though, you can use although. One word, although. Although the size of the team targeted in the study is fewer than 30 people. Remember, when we have a specific number, it's fewer. I just made this mistake a second ago. Fewer than 30 people, or if it's an abstract concept that we cannot quantify, we can use less. Or if it's a measurement of liquid, for instance, we can have less water, less fear, but it must be fewer people, fewer books, fewer spiders. Therefore, employees who want to work for the company for their entire life, or employees who are dedicated and loyal to their employer, should be valued highly. Should be valued highly, or we could say, therefore, employees who are valued for their dedication will almost certainly increase productivity. That's a nice summary. It lands on what we want. To conclude, I argue that people who would become long-term employees, plural, should be hired on the basis of the amount of time required to train and develop, I would just say, to professionally train and develop. So in that one, minor corrections and improving flow once again, and it's really having an effect. You are taking notice, I can tell. It's very good to see someone making such progress. Well done. Okay, so we have the full essay this time. Maybe I won't be quite so confused. So the bar graph published by OECD illustrates the number of students, I would say, across 9 disciplines, academic disciplines, or academic courses or disciplines is good, but we don't need this. Or this. The number of students across 9 academic disciplines in 3 regions, namely Africa, Asia and Europe. There we go, that's good. It can be seen that maths, science and art are the 3 most popular subjects, while geography, physical education and music are the least popular. Get rid of that, and get rid of that. We could say that they are the least popular. That's all we need to say, because we know that they are the 3 most popular, and they're the 3 least popular. Yeah, that's fine. So we can get rid of the word 3 and 1, because we can tell that there are 3 subjects there. Overall, there are more than 400,000 students across 5 subjects, which are the 3 most popular subjects mentioned. See, I don't understand this. So if there are 9 courses, 5 subjects, 3 most popular subjects, I'm not quite sure what we're referring to here. But let's crack on. So I think it's either this one or this one that's mistaken. Either that, or you've split the graph in a way that I can't understand because you haven't explained where this is coming from. So, maths is the most popular subject, with slightly fewer, fixed number, slightly fewer than 450,000 students. On the other hand, geography, which is the least popular subject, has only 350,000 students. example, when it comes to the regional differences, there is no significant gaps. There are no significant gaps. Plural. If you use plural, it's there are no. There are no significant gaps. I would say and only very small differences can be seen. There are no significant gaps and only very small differences can be seen. One of the minor differences is that the number of African students taking music and physical education, see, this is less, because you're talking about the number of African students. So even though this is plural, what we're referring to here is the number. So it's one number. So if you wanted to refer to both numbers, this would have to be plural. You would have to say the numbers of African students taking music and physical education, and then R would be correct. But if this is singular, one number, the two together, the number of African students taking both music and physical education, then it is less, because it's only one number. Additionally, Asian students seem, I think that might need to be an M, but seem as well is quite an ambiguous word, because when we're reading literal data from a graph, it either is or it isn't. So if we're saying it seems to be, then we're not reading the data from the graph, we're leaving it up to the reader. We're saying, well, it seems to be, but you'll have to confirm. So seem to make up relatively greater percentages in art and literacy classes than other subjects, maybe? But I think the only thing here, because this is much clearer than your last one, I mean, I know there was a mistake with the last one, but this is far, far clearer. But I think we need to include some more data and some less ambiguous words. Strive to be as accurate as possible. Explain it fully to me, describe every piece of information you can, but also back it up with data from the graph, referenced in an appropriate manner. And that should firm that up nicely. But we're really getting there now. Like I said, it's really nice to see someone make this much improvement. So I look forward greatly to seeing your next piece come through. Until then, you have a wonderful day. Speak soon.